In this video, DP Alton Chewning will demonstrate gobos and ellipsoidal lights.
So I'm going to go back to the tungsten light for 1 minute and show you a little trick. This is our tungsten light back up. This is something called a cucalores. And I don't know where that name came from. People frequently just call it a cookie. And it's a piece of wood that's had these odd shapes cut in it. And the idea is this can create a pattern that looks something like light coming through tree leaves, dappled sunlight, or it can be a much more abstract thing. These are frequently used. There are other ways to achieve the same thing, but we'll look at how this does. So I'm going to hold it up, and you can see it creates these little spaces where, you know, if you hold it in the right way, you maybe could believe that that's light coming through a tree, right? One thing about this, if you move it away from the light, the pattern becomes, oops, it gets in the shot. The pattern becomes harder, sharper, more defined. If you hold it closer to the light, it becomes a lot softer and less defined. All right, so this is called a cookie, still in use. We have another light called an ellipsoid, and we have an assistant here that's going to demonstrate this. These were originally used in theater a lot. I mean, any theater would have a big assortment of these. There are many different brands of them, but they're ellipsoid lights. This brand is a Source 4. So it can be very tightly controlled. And because of that, it's found a lot of use in television and motion picture work. It can be very tightly controlled, and it also can have patterns put into it. So we're gonna put in a pattern, and by pushing the light, the front of the light, it's got a sliding barrel, and by pushing the light in and out, it sharpens the pattern. When the light is pushed one way or the other all the way, you lose the pattern. But the tighter, right when you get it in focus at the right distance, it pulls the pattern into focus. It also has shutters or barn doors, another type of barn door, that allow you to cut the light very specifically. So Ria's going to cut it right here at the top of her head. Just off the top of her forehead, right above her eyebrows maybe, if you can. So you can very tightly control the light. So we got rid of all the light back here on the background. And we just have the light just on her. So in this case, this would give the impression of lights, sunlight, say, coming through Venetian blinds on a window, or some other, you know, shafts of light. There are many, many different patterns that could be put in this light. They're called gobos.
You know why they're called gobos?
No, why are they called gobos?
Because they go between the lamp and the lens.
Ah, very good. They go between the lamp and the lens. Gobos. All right, I've never heard that. These are a variety of different gobos or patterns. All of these are windows. They can be stars. They can be something that gives the appearance of leaf breakup, similar to what the cookie did. They can be all kind of crazy things, swirls, all sorts of things. And now they can move. And you can put two of them together. So there's a lot of possibilities with this. All right, so we can take it away now. And those are called ellipsoid lights, very useful lights. When you want to really control a light and or use it to cast patterns.
So yeah, that's a flag, a solid that would, you know, we could create a hard shadow for that. she's going to kind of a hard line or something. And again, same as all the rest of this stuff, the more distance there is, the softer it is, and the closer it is, the harder it is. Then you've got things like these nets that block part of the light, and you can use them for level control, just to knock the amount of light down, it's just too bright. And you can also, create, edges like that, and, can create, if you get it the right distance, you can create nice soft effects or, patterns. So that can be a nice control device. Yeah, I think we looked at, we talked about gobos. We looked at the little insert gobo that went in that pattern light, that source 4 there, the little metal cutout you stick in there. Since that's got lenses, it's like a projector. It creates a very sharp image. You can actually project a picture on there, but then you can also just use a cutout piece of something as a gobo or anything, really. Well, puppet. So here's a gobo for you. Yeah, so it is. There's a gobo. It's what, you can go get a branch and cut it off the tree, put it up anything that's casting a shadow, you get these, they come in these kits, the things that have the like little broken up branchy looking patterns, those are gobos. They're just, it's just a pattern, but something that breaks up the light, gives you a little bit the different character to it. Shutters are the cutting things that are built into these lights and they're internal because of the way this focus has, because of sharp focusing. So this will create edges internally, and then most of the lights we use have barn doors, which will do the same thing on the outside. Barn doors are very handy because they're right there and they're super quick. You do a lot of things very fast with barn doors. Get rid of camera flare or just keep the light contained off of areas that you don't want it. It's not perfect for making a pattern because they're stuck that far from the light. So you can't, it's not very flexible on how hard or soft it is, but it's a pretty handy thing, and so, that's something that a lot of lights have. Now, when you get into units that are made to be softer, you don't so often have barn doors because they're not going to do as much because the light's more diffused, so it's going to be harder to get a cut on it. So if you want a hard cut on a softer light, you often need a larger device to cause that cut. So I had, for instance, this, which is a big light, big broad source. So that's a nice soft light there. And then, but the background's right. So say I wanted the background to be dark. So if I had a hard light on her instead of a soft light, it's a hard light on her, and wanted the background to be darker. And so we got her. She got a nice hard light on her. Background's bright. I'll bring this barn door in. And the background's not as bright, just controlling it with that barn door. Because it's a pretty hard light. So if you take a soft light, and say ground surround, now you got a nice soft light on her. If you took a little, where do you put that light? If this light had a little barn door on it, which it doesn't, and you set up its background's bright, you tried to bring a little barn door in it doesn't do anything at all, because the light's spread all the way over there. One of the downsides of a soft source is when you're trying to separate from the background, especially the closer the subject is from the background, it gets hard to control the background. And so what you tend to do is want larger flags or controllers and have them be closer to the background. So if you can get something large and bring it in closer and not get it in the shots, there it's in the shot, but you can get something larger and closer and try to work it in there, you know, you can start to get the background darker, you know, but it's tricky. But I am doing something. I'm getting it darker, you know, but it's taking something pretty big. So you could use something even bigger than this. You just try to get it in as close as you can. And you can work with the position of the key light and everything too. But you know, you might have to play around with this some. But it can be tricky.
How much effect would a grid have?
A little. I mean, there's grids that it's like a little, describe it, a little louver.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of little squares that stick out. Yeah, it helps keep the light a little straighter. It does make a difference. It's not, nothing's real perfect with a soft light, but those help with spill a little bit.
Click on the next video to continue. New videos drop every couple of days. If you like what you see, like and follow us on our social media channels. And everything is downloadable for free on our website, ruchiproductions.com.